Everyone, Parag Nivetia from Easy Funding Solutions, a business finance advisory and consulting company located in New Jersey. You can find us on the web at www.easyfundingsolutions.com. I wanted to quickly just introduce ourselves before we go on to the main topic of today, which is the repercussions of the rate increase that happened earlier this week. But first, real quick, who's Easy Funding Solutions? We are a business finance advisory and consulting company where we help entrepreneurs to either get money for acquisition funding, buying a business, starting a business, or even expanding and growing a business. But that's not just about funding, it's also about sustainability. So we have a service called Business Sustainability, which is all about getting your business to a point where it's profitable. So what do you need to do to get there? It could be improving sales, your strategies, implementing the right strategies to get your revenue up, control your expenses well so that you can be profitable and build equity in the business. And then we have business plans. Everybody needs a business plan for funding. So businesses either come to us before they go into a bank looking for funding, or banks send their clients to us because the client doesn't have a business plan in place and they need funding. So we can help with those services. Then we have something called business modeling and loan projections. So a subset of a business plan is business model and projections for the loan. We have a lot of bankers who send their clients to us for this service as well, where the projections don't make any sense, there's no logic behind the numbers, and therefore it's hard to believe and hang that hat for the credit underwriters to approve the loan based on what they're looking at. So they send their client to us in that case, and we help build the model with the logic, with the numbers, conservative numbers, so that the bank actually can resonate and say, you know what, this is great, this is what we were looking for. So we have a lot of services. Go on to easyfundingsolutions.com for more information on us. There's podcasts on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts. There's a YouTube channel, Easy Funding Solutions on YouTube. Take a look at some of the videos that I've posted out there. And now jumping on to today's topic, the consequences of the federal rate that went up, and how does that affect people like you and me. There are many different types of loans out there that get impacted by the federal rate hike. Just to kind of give you a little perspective, the federal rate has gone up 11 times in the last 17 months. The federal bank lends based on the Fed rate. Then the banks lend money to people like you and me on the prime rate. So the prime rate benchmark is set on the Fed rate benchmark. If the Fed rate goes up, so does the prime rate. When the prime rate goes up, so does our rates on our SBA loans, our home equity loans, our credit cards, our business lines of credit. So yes, when the rates go up, our monthly payments go up. Now the question is, who's taking the brunt of these higher monthly increased payments? Obviously the consumers, right? And how do you sustain the higher borrowing cost in business? It's not a good thing for the rates to go up on one side, and that's all in all fairness, that makes sense, that's correct. However, one needs to understand why the rates have gone up. And what I will do is just leave you with a thought. During the pandemic, the prime rate was brought down on March 20th, 2020 from 5.5% to 3.25% within one evening. So why? Because the pandemic basically brought this fright into everybody's minds where we can't step out of the house because we'll get COVID. So what that did was suddenly stopped the spending in the system. That means consumers were not getting out and spending as much money anymore. Immediately that triggered off another problem. Businesses went out of business basically simply because their revenues got killed. People like you and me were not getting out of the house to spend the money. So at that point, the federal government dropped the Fed rate and therefore the prime rate dropped and it came to the bare minimum, which was 3.25%. SBA loans were 3.25 plus 2.75, just call it 6% at that point. Once we all got vaccinated, once we all got more comfortable and were able to get back out, the money started trickling back into the system. Therefore, the revenue started picking up. It took a long time, but eventually it did happen. And everybody went back out and started spending money in the system. Now, that's when the rates started going up again. The other thing that happened is the supply chain that got affected as well. When money wasn't going through the system, manufacturing was down. People were not around in factories for manufacturing. As you all remember, the automobile industry, the chips were not around because they were not being manufactured. So if the chips were not around, cars were not being brought to their destinations, and therefore people that needed to buy cars during those times had to pay a lot more money because the demand was more, the supply was less. As a result of this problem, the suppliers had to increase their price so that they could stay in business. When the price increases from the supply standpoint, whatever you buy this, you buy milk, you fill gas, you're paying higher prices. So at that point, what trickles back is who's able to sustain those higher prices. Unless you have a really good job, one, maybe you can afford those prices. If you've lost your job, clearly you cannot afford those prices. So it affects all of us in the community. Which pocket can you put your hands into to pull out extra money sitting somewhere else, or curbing expenses somewhere else to accommodate the higher price for milk? So all these things happen when rates go up or down in the economy. Just wanted to put this out. We are a business finance advisory company in New Jersey, not just about loans, but about business plans, about projection analysis, business modeling, business sustainability, price evaluation with the loan facilitation, where we help banks to help their clients to go through the loan process just to get to the finish line, which is the loan closing. So more information is available on easyfundingsolutions.com. This is Parag Nivetia from Easy Funding Solutions. Until the next time, thank you for watching.